All right, our little Fiat friend is very soon to go away. And there's just a few little measly things to wrap up on it that I probably could just let him do, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do it myself. So let's go ahead and get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and this is our 1365 that we made out of 2, and it is soon getting traded for another Oliver that I do not have. And some people will say, what a foolish trade, but hey, I don't need duplicates of the same thing. I don't feel that I am getting hurt, even if the other tractor needs a lot of work. I don't have that much in this other than my time, you know. So first thing I want to do is I want to give the feller a top link, because the one I'm getting has a top link. So this is the top link that we bought for the other 1365, and then I found an original style one, so there's that. So I'm going to let him have this one, which is brand new, hasn't hardly ever been used. And the next thing's going to be, how do I get the pin in? Because I think there's just a certain, oh, there we go. There's just a certain way that works. I know that from the other one, because I just took it out of my green one. All right, look at that, beautiful. Like the day it was born. Should probably, well, like I said, I just don't want him to lose this, but it's up to him to regulate much more than that. Next on our agenda, let's do something fun, and then we'll get down to the business. Underneath of our hood, there is one thing we did not do yet, and all of the repairs we made. We have no horn. We need a horn on the Fiat. So I went to the store and I found a horn that looks like the original. So we're gonna put that in, and hopefully we got the beep beep. You know what I mean? Everything should work. Let's see here. Does it matter which is which? I don't think it does. I think either one, as long as one goes to ground, I think it'll be fine. So we're going to put this on there like that here in a minute. But first we're going to mount the horn to the tractor. Oh, mamma mia. I'm getting bitten by the mosquitoes. Huh? All right. Let's put it in this one. This will probably fail, but everything else in our life has, so why wouldn't this? Pino. There we go. Come on. Uh-huh. We're getting it, yeah, horn hooked onto the thing there, yeah. I'm gonna drop the socket down in the engine bay and make our life sad. Aha, yeah. Now we hook up at the horn, and she should go at the beepity beep. And we ain't got no beepity beep, but we don't have no battery cable on, so that's probably the problem. Now we got the battery cable on, we got the lights, we got the horn, and it even sounds Italian. All right, good deal. Gotta have a horn for the guy. So that's done. Lastly, what we need to do, we're sailing through these projects. This isn't going to hardly be enough for a video, but lastly, we are going to bolt the dash down, and as such, we need to clean the threads. And I hope that my tap is good for this. I was thinking that one of these metric taps was bad. Oh, it's the 10. I need to get another one. But like I said before, our snap-on man is nowhere to be found. So he fled the country. I guess Guido was looking for him. But anyway, what I'm saying is we're going to have to get a replacement tap at some point. Will this get in there? I'd really like to not do this way, but I can't get that other tool in there. There it goes. It's just coming out there just as nice as can be. I should go get the thing to put these down tight, and also anti-seizure, because as I learned on the other one, if you don't put the anti-seize on the bolt, you twist it out. So we don't want that. All right. Our anti-seize is going back to its most basic elements I see in there. So we might as well stir it up a little. And we already got it all over ourselves. Isn't that amazing how it doesn't even take anything? Let's just, yeah, that we're wearing all that anti-seize. Sure. Oh, nice. Pino, 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 pino. It's the pain in the head like you've never seen. La 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 la. Come on there, buddy. I think we about got her licked there. Put that in there. We'll do the tightening later. I just want to get them started first. There we go. Silly thing. Okay. I think we got all those clean. Might as well put that away first. I might as well get all this. Look at all that. Look, you can't just use a little. You got to use a lot. That's the anti-seize guarantee. If you don't look like the Tin Man by the time you're done, you didn't do it right. Oh boy. Wish I could find the correct fasteners that had a Phillips screw head instead of this stupid Allen job, but whatever. When you're dealing with metric bolts, beggars can't be choosers. It's going to be a fun time drilling that one out on the other tractor that I've got. Yes, we're going to stop with that so we don't screw it up. All right, my fine Italian friend. Do we think we have everything? I'm hoping so. Let's clean up our tools and put the grill on, and we'll take it for one final spin. All right, my little spaghetti machine, will you go? What a little sweetheart. I had to take a drink first. There we go. It steers beautifully. Fuel is in it either. like a dream. Beautiful. Well, this is so long, I think. Our next video will be seeing it leave. We've been all through it, just about. But a tractor that was destined for the Chinese spoon factory, and it's now going to live out its days on a farm. So that'll be pretty sweet. And I'm hoping that the thing that I'm getting is pretty sweet too. It looks like it from the pictures. So, yeah. All right. I know some people are going to say, when they see what I got, they're going to say, oh, you traded down and you didn't get... Yeah, he probably is getting the better end of the deal just because of the difference in models. This one is much more, what do I want to say? Is a much more reliable tractor. At least, that's how it is known. The one that is coming, I will give you a hint, it is also a Fiat, but it is not regarded nearly as highly as these were. So one day, whenever there's nothing else to do, that'll probably be a winter time project, I will do a video on the progression of the Fiats and how Oliver ended up using them and the different models there were, because people lump them together and they don't understand that there are differences in models. For example, the first ones, like that they started with, were the 1250 and the 1450. Well, then when those turned out to be not so dandy, they switched and they made a 1250-A, and that is different. That is like these, and that was a decent little tractor. And then later, when the 50 series was totally done, they went to 55 series, and then 65 series, and then 70 series, and then into the whites. So I'll try to do something on explaining all that at some point, you know, so that everybody understands what's what when you see one. But these were pretty good utility tractors. At one time, geez, I can't remember what the percentage was, but it was a lot. They had a big percentage of the market share whenever Fiat pulled the plug on white. There was a ton of these little tractors out there, so they were not too shabby, I'll tell you that. And, you know, I mean, the big thing I think that people wanted that like Oliver did not have at the time, and was part of the reason for just importing something instead of redesigning things, was differential lock. People wanted a differential lock, and these little overseas tractors had that pretty well standard on all of them. So you've got your diff lock, you know, you've got a parking brake that's easily accessible. That was a big thing that I think was a failure on the Super 55 and 550. They should have put a better parking brake system where you could get to it without trying to lean all the way down to the floor, because that, I do not like that either on those. You know, you had an 8-speed transmission, range shifter and gear shift, and then, you know, option of auxiliary hydraulics, 3-point. I guess while we're doing this, I might as well explain controls, because I know people asked about what they do. So as far as that goes, like I said, this is your remote outlet hydraulics. Here's your 3-point. When you want to go into draft control mode, then that is when you would flip this lever down and it changes that wheel contact. I don't know. I haven't ever tried it in draft control mode, but it also has to do, you got to flip this thing out and different things, because it senses its draft control through the top link. See, this steel plate is just like a big spring, and this piece pivots on it, and then that tells it, hey, through this link here, it's time to raise up or lower, so that you could, you know, run your implement at a consistent depth. What other controls would you need to know? Well, you had a hand throttle and a foot throttle, which is another thing that I wish had been a standard feature on like a 550. That would have made it super handy. And And then over here you have your, probably the most confusing thing about these, which also killed a bunch of them, is the power takeoff clutch. This tractor has a 2-stage clutch, like on many American tractors. Except on American tractors, a lot of times it's all in the foot pedal. You push halfway down, your ground drive stops, you push all the way down, your PTO stops. On this one, it's got a 2-stage clutch, but it has 2 separate levers. Your clutch just throws the stage out that stops the ground travel, but then to shift your PTO, you pull this up. Now it's like you were stepping all the way down on the clutch on another tractor. You shift the power takeoff into gear. It's gear to gear. And then to engage it, you release the clutch slowly, and then it pops back out. And then that's how you run with the power takeoff on. What people did that killed them, and I've said this before, instead of shifting that to neutral, they just flip this up and run with it up. Well, now it's shoving against that throw-out bearing of that stage of the clutch, which is putting constant pressure on the flywheel and the crankshaft, and it would just wear out the thrust bearing in the engine to the point that it would even lock them up, which is what happened to that, you know, that other parts tractor is pretty tight. That's what was happening. And you saw in the one that I took apart, that I always had, it ate pretty well through the bolts that hold the rear main seal retainer on. That's crazy. You would think you would hear noise before then. So you were supposed to put the clutch up, shift it back to neutral, put the clutch down, and this is how you always run the tractor, with the clutch down. Never run it with the clutch up, or sadness will ensue. Now, I have found in my travels that you need to flip this up. You can shift the power takeoff on and then run it. When you're done, you can just shove it over out of gear. You don't have to necessarily use the clutch. It will come out of gear easy. I wouldn't do that with it under an extreme load, but if it's just, you know, empty or freewheeling or whatever, you pull it out of gear, be done with it, you know, empty auger situation or whatever. But yeah, the clutch should always be down like that when you're in normal operation mode, or you will have a bad time. So basically, that's the only oddity, I would say, on these Fiats, control-wise, that's different than maybe some other tractors that you might encounter. So pretty basic things, you know. It's got power steering, which is just all done through this cylinder here. This thing senses which direction you're turning it. It's got a regular steering box, so you always have connection. Even if the power steering fails, it's still, you know, manually steered. This one steers better than mine. It steers like a dream. It's pretty amazing how effortless it steers, so that's a good thing for him. Spin out rims, talked about those before. You know, that was handy on these little standard tractors. That was the only way you could get adjustable wheels without flipping them in side for side, you know. So spin outs make sense if you were doing a lot of cultivating and different things. But you know what I'm saying. It's all what you're used to, and this style of tractor was what was used overseas in most every country. They did not have, like, the row crop tractor is an American invention. You know, Farmall came out with it when they came out with the Farmall regular, and then all of their models, that style tractor, a tractor that was set up high with narrow front wheels, that is an American thing. And it kind of really, if you go around the world, you're only going to really find them here. I'm sure there were some in other countries that maybe tried things like that, but most places, when you see pictures of old pictures or whatever farming around the world, it was tractors set up about like this, a standard tread, low to the ground tractor, and that's the way it was. So you know, over here they might seem kind of out of place, but not really. On the grand scheme of things, this is a very common layout for a thing, and really about like a tractor is today. This tractor and modern tractors are not that much difference, other than more electronics on modern stuff, you know. But little diesel motor, very fuel efficient. Like I said, every feature you'd want. Remote hydraulics, yeah, 8-speed transmission, live power takeoff, so live hydraulics. Just a sweet little feller. And like I said, if you're looking for a utility tractor, these a 65 series tractor, like a 1365, and even a 1370. The 1355 too is okay, but they're really good little tractors, I have to say. Much better than, I would argue, the David Browns. You know, I see some people blindly making claims that, oh, the David Brown, they should have stuck with that, it was a better tractor. I own both, and I disagree. I think this, as far as handiness sake, this is much more of a tractor than the David Brown. The David Brown's a neat little tractor, but this has just got more bells and whistles, I guess you'd say. So anyway, if it hadn't been for those first two, the 1250 and the 1450, that kind of gave them a bad name, you know, I think they would have went down in history as some of the greatest little utility tractors ever. But seems like people only remember the bad times, they never remember the good stuff. But these were really good. So yeah, if you run across the chance to buy one, I would not hesitate. So anyway, enough rambling about tractors for today. As always, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment. That stuff doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out, and then I can keep making videos about all kinds of stuff. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.